We're joined just now by our GB News political editor, Darren McCaffrey, who's outside the Houses of Parliament. Hello there, Darren. Is it quiet there, or is there a bit of, skullduggery going on? Are MPs in today?
They're not, no. Many of them are back in the constituencies. It's one of these things, though, Anne, isn't it, that it's very easy to do skullduggery with WhatsApp and mobile phones these days. You do no longer need to be in person, but certainly there will be a lot of messages being sent around this weekend, a lot of preparation, as you say, ahead of that big debate tonight on ITV involving all the 5 remaining candidates. And unsurprisingly, we're also hearing and seeing from some of their supporters on the television this morning. Dominic Raab, the Deputy Prime Minister who's backing Rishi Sunak, insisting that the former Chancellor had not been plotting for months to bring down Boris Johnson. Clearly that will be a big factor, won't it, in the thinking of many Conservative members about the roles that the individual leadership candidates may or may not have played in the downfall of Boris Johnson. Liz Truss has been very, very clear that she did not resign because she wanted to remain loyal to Boris Johnson. But you're right in pointing out they're all trying to set out their stalls today. Rishi Sunak insisting that his big priority is not tackling and bringing down taxes like Liz Truss is, but rather trying to tackle inflation. He argues trying to do otherwise would make things worse. Liz Truss is talking about housing, how we need to move away from those arbitrary yearly targets, though frankly they've not been met by the government for many, many, many years. And you're right in also talking about Penny Mordaunt in the sense that she's taken a bit of a hammering in the newspapers this morning, particularly over the recollection of what she may and may not have done as Equality Ministers around self-ID. Some leaked documents for civil servants seem to dispute her recall of events. Could that prove damaging? Well, she still remains the bookies' favourite, it must be said, though a poll in the Sunday Telegraph today puts Rishi Sunak in the lead when it comes to members. And we've heard also from Dominic Raab, that Deputy Prime Minister today, taking a dig at Liz Truss when it comes to tax and her record in the Treasury, saying that people can see if spending and headcounts went up or down. Did she cut taxes? Did she spend more, or did it go down when she was in the Treasury between 2017 and 2019? So lots of personal battles going to play out in the day ahead. That big debate is on tonight on ITV, and then the third round of voting is tomorrow, early evening here at Westminster, which will see at least another candidate knocked out. We are hoping to have the final 2 by the middle of the week.
It's interesting, isn't it, just how useful these debates are going to be. It's going to be interesting tonight, Darren, to see how performances have changed, what they've learnt from Friday night. But in terms of the topics that they're discussing, is it just more of the same?
Well, good question. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, that will be up to ITV and the audience to decide whether they are. Lots of people pointed out, Brexit wasn't much talked about on Friday. Migration wasn't talked about much on Friday during that Channel 4 debate. Clearly, Christian Murphy made a point at the start saying that actually when they asked the audience, trust in politics was a big issue, and that's why they went pretty hard on all of that. I would suspect that many of the questions, and indeed the format, might be slightly different tonight. It's always an agreement, though, isn't it, between the broadcasters and the individuals taking part. But you're right also, I think we will have to see a change of tack from some of the candidates. Liz Truss, can she try and be a bit less stilted, a bit less wooden, a bit more charismatic, frankly? For Penny Mordaunt, is it fair to say she played it pretty safe on Friday? Actually needs to be a bit punchier than she was. The problem, of course, though, for the Conservative Party is in many ways the big winner from all these debates, to a large degree, is Keir Starmer, because this is a Conservative Party, yes, battling out for the future ideas of where the government goes, but also tearing strips of each other, which, frankly, for a lot of voters is not particularly appetising. As someone once said, I think it was Boris Johnson, divided parties do not win elections.